Hey guys, this is Miss Early, and this is the video for the favorite food drawing. Some things that you're going to need for this project is a piece of paper for your actual drawing. Whatever kind of paper you have is cool. And then you need some kind of like small scrap piece of paper, or it could just be another sheet of paper. It doesn't matter. I'm just using a scrap piece of paper. And then some kind of pencils, whether they're regular pencils or colored pencils. Okay, so the first step to the project, guys, is on your small scrap piece of paper. I pushed my drawing paper out of the way. On this small scrap sheet of paper, I'm going to draw the food that I chose in the Google Classroom online assignment. If you recall, there was a handout about an artist named Wayne Thiebaud who paints food, and then you were supposed to let me know what food you were choosing for this project. So that picture that you found online for your reference, that is what you were drawing on this small or your second little sheet of paper, okay? So what I'm gonna do is just draw my food that I had. I had selected pizza. So it's not a giant drawing, but it's not like a teeny tiny drawing like this big. You don't want to draw this big. You would like to draw it probably like, here's my whole hand stretched out. So like maybe about 5 inches or so. So not teeny tiny, but not gigantic, if that makes sense. Okay, so I did have a picture picked off the internet that I'm using. Okay, gonna keep drawing my food. Okay, so you could have picked any food that you wanted. Any kind of drink would have worked. Whatever you want. And then you were supposed to turn that information in through the little Google Classroom handout. Okay, so here's my pizza. Officially done drawing it. Okay, so now guys, we're gonna do what's called an image transfer. So we did this in the last assignment. What you need to do is flip this over. Once you have it drawn out, you're gonna flip it over and you're going to color the back as dark as you can with either a colored pencil or a regular pencil. It just has to be a pencil, okay? So I'm gonna color this whole thing in as dark as I can get it. I'm not coloring the entire sheet of paper. I'm just coloring what is like directly behind my drawing, okay? Now you could color this whole piece of paper if you wanted to, but that's just extra work, okay? So I'm just gonna make sure I have a nice thick layer of pencil behind my drawing, okay? And then I'm gonna get my big sheet of paper and I'm gonna choose a place where I want to basically print my food drawing. So you could put it anywhere you'd like. You could turn it any direction you want. You could turn your paper horizontal. It's really up to you, okay? So I'm just gonna turn it this way. I think I want my pizza maybe up here in like the kind of top left corner. All right, so the way the image transfer works is I'm gonna hold the paper still. It cannot move. And I'm going to trace my drawing. I'm pressing down fairly hard. It just helps the paper print a little better. Okay, we did do this technique in the mandala project, and we're doing it again in this assignment. Okay, I was just taking a peek to make sure I traced everything. There we go. So my pizza has printed on my paper. All right, so it usually does tend to be a little bit light. So you could take a marker or a Sharpie or whatever you have at home and trace over those light light lines. Okay. So that they just show up a little better. Okay. So guys, while I finish this up, tracing my lines after I printed my food, you need some kind of ruler or straight edge, like a piece of paper or a book, because we are going to draw some straight lines kind of behind our food drawing in just a second. Okay, so here's my pizza. I've got him printed. He's on my paper. I have a ruler just because I'm the art teacher. You can, like I said, you can just use a sheet of paper or a book's edge. Anything with an edge will be fine. I'm going to make a vanishing point just somewhere in the middle of my food. Doesn't have to be exact. Just put it right there really tiny in pencil. And I'm just going to use this to help me line up my lines. So here's, got my ruler lined up with my vanishing point. I don't like to draw through my picture. I start where the picture ends, and then I'll draw off the paper. Okay. And I'm just going to work my way around the whole paper. Okay, so yours might not look the same as mine just because you put your food in a different location, or, that is totally fine. All right, almost finished. Maybe add like 2 more. Okay, and then once I'm done drawing my lines, I want to take a second, guys, and count how many of these little spaces there are. When we drew these lines, we created these shapes, and I want to count and see how many there are total. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, 11 is an odd number. I want an even number of spaces. Okay, so if you count yours and you have an even number, like 10, 12, 14, you're good to go. All right. Now, what if you're like me and you have an odd number? If you have an odd number, all you have to do is just add 1 more line somewhere. Okay. So I'm just going to add it right there. Okay. And now if I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Now I have an even number and I'm good to go. And I'm going to erase that little vanishing point. And this is what, your image should look something like this. You should have a food and you should have these lines kind of radiating out behind it. Okay. So the final part of this drawing that's going to be in this video, guys, is creating this kind of pattern for the background. And the way we're going to do that is I'm just going to pick a section to start in. It doesn't matter what section it is. So I'm just going to pick this one because it's the closest to my drawing hand. All right, so in this section right here, I'm going to draw some stripes, but what I want to do is kind of curve the line up, kind of like a little hill, if you will. So from one side of the section to the other. And if I were you, I would not make my lines like super duper close to each other. I'd kind of like evenly space them out. And once you run out of space, guys, you just draw off the paper until you are out of room. Okay. Now I'm going to move to the next section. I'm going to do the same step, except instead of curving up, I'm going to curve down. And I'm going to start where the first lines ended. So I'm curving up, and now I'm curving down. Okay. And then when I'm out of room, I'm out of room. Okay, so this is going to be our pattern. Curving up, curving down. So next section, I'll be curving up. Just kind of draw all around that. You can turn your paper if that helps you. It helps me a little bit. You might fake a little bit. Okay, then I'm curving down. One of our other principles of design, guys, is pattern. And that's what we're creating right now, is a pattern of lines. And you're gonna go all the way around the paper until you end up with something like this, okay? And when I see you guys in class coming up in the next day or two, we will talk about adding color and finishing this drawing, okay? So hopefully, guys, that was helpful. So good luck.